welcome back to the LEC, everyone, as BDS comes back here in Game 2 of this best of 3, and we will go to Game 3 versus Team Heretics. And guys, we were criticizing the approach of BDS and the execution actually in Game 1. How much did we like what they tried here in Game 2?
At first glance, I was actually quite worried because I felt like they were digging themselves a hole in the draft with showing both solo laners first 3, both being 80 solo laners first 3, and having to go AP jungle no matter what 4-5. At first glance, I was really thinking to myself, this is never going to be able to be figured out. And they locked in Seri, Lilia. I was kind of hesitant. And then Sheo went on to have a really good game, honestly, from start to finish. And I think he had a big impact on this game. And it feels like he kind of saved it together with Labrov in a fight that we saw earlier on in the game.
Yeah, but I also think just like, I don't want to say Lucky Bear is a very good scenario for them to find a Lily as well, specifically into the Sejuani. It's something we saw Yike do a lot in winter, where he kept bringing out the Lilia in a meta that was majority dominated by Sejuani and Maokai back then. So now as well, when you can still take over the jungle like this, especially when Jankos was trying to get so many ganks onto Adam up in that top side, you actually suddenly got something. And it wasn't in the fact that you got kills suddenly on the map, other side of the map, but you got different kinds of tempo. You had the fact that you had an XP lead on the Lilia. You saw it even when he was invading on red side as well. He was level 6 before Jankos, so Jankos couldn't even get his own jungle anymore. And just very early into the game, I saw a glimmer of the old BDS where it's like, we have a lead on Sheo, we play for it. They had one little oopsie where they counter jungled on blue buff and they almost died, but outside of that fact, I think it was a really good pick to rally behind.
And on the other side, for Team Heretics, I want to ask you guys, what is Seraphine supposed to do here? Is this a champion that we like in this meta? We know that Flakked liked it last year when he was playing with G2. I don't really see the purpose of Seraphine in this draft.
So I think they had a similar idea in this game as to the first one, where they wanted to play a self-sustaining AD carry in the Seraphine and have everyone kind of play around Vetheo once again on the Tristana. It sort of felt forced in this time because I think Kai'Sa is way more powerful than Tristana is right now, especially since Tristana is not even building static Shiv, as far as I can see in these games. And Seraphine is also a harder champion in my mind to execute than the Ziggs because she is actually vulnerable on her own, meanwhile Ziggs can kind of just throw his bombs from outside of the screen and have no one go on him. So it felt sort of like they went for the same ideas in game as in the first game, but with suboptimal champions this time.
But I kind of got the essence of it that you wanted that enchanter, right? You wanted to have that extra CC you could have in the team fights when you had the Sejuani. And like, let's be honest, had they accelerated, it probably would have been harder for BDS to play the game, but I think BDS also had better answers, right? The fact that they still had a static shift used to themselves meant that Seri could just one-shot the waves. So bot laners are just in this situation where they just bounce back and forth. They just bounce. They're just playing ping pong down in that bot lane until you get to the late game. So that's why the bot lane gets kind of stale in general, or the game in general gets really stale. But it also just really benefited them because now they actually had more range to play around with. They had better team fighting tools to approach this Seraphine with. Even when she got ultimates down, she still died in team fight because Labrov just straight up flashed into the ultimate, did not care he was going to get charmed.
And there's amazing scaling, I feel, on the side of Team BDS with the Jayce, with the Zeri, even though we don't like the champion in this meta. But for me, I'm just wondering if Team Heretics didn't insist enough on mid lane, because for me, Jayce is the kind of champions, if you shut it down early, it's really going to be really hard to come back with it.
I definitely think they wanted to with the Nautilus to have possibilities to move out and be there before the rel. They just never really got to that point. It felt like they really wanted to replicate game 1 where they shut down Adam and try and get a lead through that they didn't try to push as much as they could in that mid lane. And you saw laning phase as well. It was actually Nuc who was pushing Vetheo behind his turret the entire time. So he didn't really have that mid lane to play for.
Yeah, and I also think Adam did a better job this game, even though it's not a great job. He has probably 5 or 6 isolated deaths this series, but he still had a 1,000 gold lead after dying twice, almost taking a full tower on his own. So it felt like he did a better job at not only getting the pressure to him, but still continuing his Adam thing that he usually goes for.
Yeah, that was what's really interesting about Adam in this game. It's the fact that he plays completely ignorant of the enemy jungler and just say, I'm going to hit this tower. I don't really care if anyone's here. If you're here, you kill me, good, you get a kill. If not, I'm still going for plates. It's kind of a bow strategy, I'm not going to lie, with the way that he played it, where it's like, if I die, I die, you know? But it works out, and it creates so much pressure, but Jankos has to be, if I'm not top lane, this enemy top laner is just getting everything off my top laner. There's nothing I can do about it.
Absorbing the pressure, being the bait of the team so that the rest of the team can focus on the rest of the map. I want to focus on one specific fight here. It is the Drake fight, because I like the fact that Team Heretics is trying to engage with the tools they have, but when you know that you have a Lilia and a Rel that can be ready to strike back, this is when it becomes dangerous, GB.
Oh, absolutely. And this is one of the interesting plays where we can actually see, if we bring up the replay as well, is that we will actually have a situation where BDS is looking to get control of the river area. Currently, right now, it's actually owned by Team Heretics. You can see on the minimap that Seraphine is moving up as well. And for Seraphine, what you really want is slow combined with your ultimate and your E at the same time. So they're genuinely looking for a play here where you can see Mersa move up. And all they're thinking about right here is Flakked is going to come in with the ultimate. I'm going to have my Seraphine ultimate on these members, and we're going to get easy kills. What's really crucial is what Labrov does instead. They're trying to CC him up. They're trying to get it down. He does not care. He will instantly flash in on Flakked, completely ignoring every member. 4-man into the sleep that also came from Sheo at the same time, into the queue that unfortunately from Nuc gets stunned, but it's already too late. Crownie has joined the fray, and it's just really good disengage for BDS in general, but also for Labrov to have that split decision-making where it's just like, I'm going in, and I don't care. We're taking this fight. So yeah, generally really good way to salvage a fight there. And since the game was so stale in the early game, this was really what just swung the gold lead. As soon as this play happened, it was Drake, it was towers. It was almost a game that just got lost there.
Pretty much the game from that point, yeah. And I think that's a clear indication as to why Rel is so strong on this patch, because normally before you would have to build a comp together with the Rel that's going in. And in this case, you don't necessarily have that. In this scenario, neither. It's just Rel on her own doing a game-winning play. Lilia had a big impact as well on it, but I really feel like this shows the power of Rel, that she can just do that on her own without having a tether to anyone, just going on her own and making that 4-man play.
I mean, actually, the more enemies engage at you, the better, because you have less distance to get close with the champion. Super powerful champion, and I really like the priority on the side of BDS with the Rel. But what do we want to see here in Game 3? For both these teams, we have Heretics on blue side. Thank you very much. So yeah, back to maybe the champions that made them successful. If they can grab them, I'm not sure Kai'Sa is going to be open.
Kai'Sa will be banned on red side this time around. Just a small hunch, and at least something you have to do against Vetheo. It's kind of mental though, isn't it? That like a mid laner, a Kai'Sa Vetheo will have this much pressure in terms of a champion like this. I know you were talking about it as well earlier. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that you have to ban an AD carry champion against the mid laner. Otherwise, you're probably about to lose the game. If I'm Heretics, though, in the next game, I don't think I'm forcing this comp again. I feel like with the Kai'Sa, it makes sense. Kai'Sa's really strong. She's going for the static shifts. You can play around that and have her be your pressure point in the game. But Tristana doesn't feel the same form to me, because she doesn't go for a static shift. So I would rather then see them go for something else in this next game, because I feel like without the Kai'Sa, there's no point in running this mage bot lane. I would rather just see a traditional AD carry.
Maybe giving the Jayce to Vetheo this time. I doubt that he's going to see LeBlanc. It's been banned every time here. Kai'Sa again. I don't feel like Tristana is a good pick here. I'm just browsing through the mid lane champions.
Yeah, but I think what's really curious is that you have to take a look at the first 3 bans on BDS, because this is a question as well. Immediately, my mind goes to like, give them Maokai. Do not get Vetheo de LeBlanc either. Do not give them Evie the Rumble on the top side either. The champion is simply too strong right now. So you're going to have to give over the Maokai. If you give over the Maokai, that is still playable in terms of giving champions. And I feel like that's the easiest solution straight from the bans.
When you look at what's at stake here for both teams, we know that Team BDS lock in season finals with this win. On the other side, you have Heretics, who actually need to take this one to have the highest hopes of making it to the next stage and potentially locking season finals. So when it comes to how the series played out so far, who should have the momentum and the best chances of taking the series, would you say?
I would honestly like to say Heretics. I think it's partly blue side, partly also them overforcing in this game. I feel like they actually had a good thing going in this game as well, up until this fight we looked at earlier. So if they can somehow they just need to find a way to deal with Adam first. But if they can somehow just do that, then I have my hopes on Heretics actually for the next game.
I think I like that. I think blue side definitely is a very strong one. But I think Sheo came alive, a bit more alive as well. I think they found a more valuable strategy to play into Team Heretics, because if he can punish Jankos, if he's on top side the entire time, if you can limit the playmaking potential that Vetheo will have, I think those are the key things you need to focus on, and then actually have something that you can play through for Sheo as well. Keep Labrov on the engage. Like, this should just be Labrov meta. The fact that he no longer has to play these enchanters and he can actually play these champions, he can be a bit, well, almost Helisang-esque, where he's just flipping it. I feel like that's something that really benefits it, and maybe something BDS have lacked a bit, the fact that there's this proactivity to go for.
And I'm just wondering, how can I put this? Did BDS overcome their demons from the regular season? Because it was lacking execution. They're really relying on having a good early game and having Sheo put in a good situation to help his teammates. Heretics know this, so I'm just wondering how this one's gonna play out. What kind of champions can they give Sheo to give him this agency he needs in the early game? And that's what we will see right now with the draft. What do we expect teams to open here? We talked about BDS bans. What do you want to see in the first round?
Definitely Kai'Sa out. I think LeBlanc out as well. It's just about controlling Vetheo, I guess, and for Heretics, controlling Adam, because I think Adam is just soaking so much pressure in the game. And I feel like if Jankos just has to repeatedly go there...
Oh, and yeah. So, LeBlanc is out, Kai'Sa is out, of course. Yeah.
I feel like this is just Team Heretics going back to where they came from, right? So they're just getting rid of the rail. This also just means that they want other options to have first pickable for them. It is a good Mersa champion as well, don't get me wrong, but they have other options they can go for. And it's actually the Maokai that they keep on the ban table. I feel like Rumble is good here. It's one of these champions where all over the world, people have just struggled with what counters Rumble. What do we go against Rumble? But no, it's actually Vetheo taking the priority straight onto Tristana. I was wondering if this is them saying, Adam, we know you don't play Rumble.
It's still a flex.
There's a good chance to get it anyway. Wrap around.
It's still a flex though. We know that Tristana can be played bot. A good option though. And yeah, we'll have Nuc back on the Jayce. It's been successful in games.
So maybe in other scenarios you'd go for the Sejuani here, but I don't think you lean into the Sejuani-Lilia matchup again. I think it's really important now if you're Heretics to recognize that Sheo has to go for an AP jungle. Or they have to play a mage bot, but that's unlikely to happen. I don't think Crownie is necessarily a mage player, so you know that Sheo wants to go for an AP jungle, so you shouldn't lean into a matchup that would be possible in.
And we've seen this one be banned a lot, but it's finally coming out. It's something that's really benefited of the double AD combo. I know you are very fond of this in Korea.
I love it. Yeah. But the issue I have for this, because I saw it often in Korea, you want to have the double AD usually played alongside the Ivern, but it's such a specific gameplay. If you can put it in place, it's going to be insanely strong. But it's really easy to be countered, especially in the early game and the setups that you need to be able to offer with the Ivern. So I'm really interested in seeing how Heretics is going to be able to maneuver this champion, because Ivern is really specific in the gameplay that it requires.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of different pathings you can take. You can also have a super speed pathing if you actually want on Ivern. It's not always that beneficial, but his clear can be insane if you want to feel good about yourself. And it's actually a Gragas here for Sheo, which can be quite facilitating, help them out in a team fight. Not going to have the same kind of clear speed that we saw on the Lilia just now, but that leaves open AD carries to be taking away, or bot laners if you're Team Heretics. You already know you have the Nautilus. Maybe you want to get rid of a Braum here.
Yeah, I think definitely you want to make sure that Crownie doesn't have too good of a time in this game, because it seems like so far Flakked is kind of just filling this role within the team where he is on his own, and that gives basically Crownie free reign to do whatever he wants. In the first game he went for the Vayne, and in the second game he went for the Seri. So I think if you're Heretics here, you really try to think twice about which matchup you put Flakked in, because if it's too easy for Crownie, that might be him running away with the game.
Yeah, I do wonder, do you feel like they're just going to ban the 60? Do you feel like it's a good thing to come out as well?
I would personally not ban mages at all. I wouldn't ban the Seraphine either, because I think it's so much easier to play against a one-threat team than a two-threat team, which is basically what they ran the last game and what it would be with the Seraphine bot here. So I wouldn't necessarily ban these mages. I would be much more aware of double AD carry with Ivern, which we have seen be very successful in other regions as well.
There is the Braum ban as well. I was wondering as well, because if Braum was let through, I've seen Crownie's solo queue account, and he has played a fair bit of Ashe as well. That, of course, has gotten some changes. It's really good with the Triforce too, but we might not see that this time around. And you do have the counter pick on a support right now if you want to.
Yeah, most likely save AD later and see if you can get an even better matchup for Crownie. That's going to be AP Varus maybe for Crownie. It is run with the static shift, but built similar to how Kai'Sa is built with Nashor's Tooth, so they will feel a better damage profile than the previous game where they had only Lilia as AP damage. Now they have Gragas and Varus as AP damage, so no not the same threat as there was in the last game for stacking armor.
This is quite interesting as well. We are having one of those games where Rumble is just not a priority whatsoever. It is actually going to be the Ornn just giving you that team fight prowess here. Not much in the backline that can stop it. And, you know, that makes sense with the Braum ban as well. It was kind of the double effect. Good, would have been good into the Nautilus, would have been good into the Ornn now here as well.
Most likely not going Ashe. I think if anything, it's a Ezreal game, perhaps. Yeah, fills that role quite nicely that they're using Flakked for. But I think Aphelios is the best pick. I'm really happy he's actually going for that, because I was kind of afraid when I saw this comp that they are so set in stone on what kind of identity they want to have as a team that he's not allowed to play any kind of carry. He's just playing this on his own champion, and Aphelios doesn't fill that role. Aphelios is played around, so now they actually have 2 threats in their team, 3 supports. It's a lot more scary to play against for BDS than the previous game where they only had Tristana.
Oh, I also just think in general from Team Heretics here, there's so much lockdown. Point and click CC will be absolutely insane. Mersa presses his ultimate on Crownie, Nuc, and even Labrov, who's normally so mobile on a champion like Rakan. They will really struggle. They are going to be quite reliant, I think, from Labrov specifically, or Sheo as well, finding really good flanks. Because if you just run into them head to head, yeah, you can have first priority objectives and play around the poke on a Jayce and a Varus, but if you do not have that and you're walking into area where you have to face check, that's going to be really scary for you. So for BDS, I think it's really important that they really make the most of their lane priority if they have any.
We've talked about the importance of the early game for BDS. Would you say that it's a situation that favors them here? And again, Ivern, a really tricky setup to put in place, I feel. I don't remember seeing Jankos with the champion. So Rekkles, what do you expect from both teams here with this approach in Game 3?
I feel like BDS have a lot of options in the game. They actually have every lane and everything they can really play for, but Heretics is with the easy to execute comp.
Well, we'll see if they can execute it better here. BDS and Team Heretics with very creative approaches here in this game. We'll see if who can win it here in Game 3. Let's toss it.
And welcome to the Rev for the final game in this series. Thanks to the desk for covering draft.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Ivern, Heretics, chance coming out.
Ivern.
I have no allegiance, but I am excited to see how Ivern plus double AD carry works on the LEC stage. Obviously, it's been hyped up for a long time.
Yeah, we've got Ivern double AD carry versus Gragas, Jayce, Varus. A lot of poke, expecting maybe with that longsword, we'll see what he builds.
Yeah, it feels like...
Hope he's going a little bit of AP. I mean, he could have Gragas solo AP and full lethality Varus, but that's an Ornn.
Yeah, I think in the old days, Halo Blades meant assuredly AD Varus, lethality Varus, but I think now in this new world, build Longsword turns into a Kerchies, gets you to static shiv, so we'll have to see what happens.
I need to see if Jankos has done his homework on Ivern, because there's like this, the new Q change.
Yeah.
You go Wolves mark, blue mark, Grump mark, go bot side, mark Raptors, mark red, smite red, come back, and you do Wolves and blue at the same time when you take the marks. So we'll see as he comes back after he gets his red buff, if he's done his homework on the Q leash. I might pay the observers to check. There's no fighting, question mark ping on the top side of the map. See if Ivern's starting there. I think this is the most basic Ivern pathing.
Yeah. Sheo opting for the Gragas here. In general, I like what Gragas brings to a team, but he was hit on this patch pretty heavily. Passive cooldown from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. That is an absurd amount of health loss over an entire jungle clear. That said, Q maxing now does reduce the mana cost pretty significantly if you do want to max out that barrel roll.
Yeah, good pings coming out from the BDS side. They're tracking Jankos very well. Now he's going to do the red, he's going to smite the red, and now he's going to path back up. The question is, the idea here is like... He didn't smite the red. Interesting. I've never seen this idea of pathing before. I mean, he's going to get Wolves and level up. What's the plan? He's going to get Wolves and level up. And he's going to get 3 camps top side. He's going to get level 3. But nothing's...
He's going in. He's taking the camp.
Oh, there's the tech.
Bam,
there's
bam.
the tech. That's the tech right there. You do 2 at the same time with that new Q. And now he's got all 3. He's actually saving his smite. I wonder if this... Because now you can see on the bottom left, you can see that timer ticking. He's got 2 smites now at 2 minutes 40. Whereas Sheo's second one is just coming up now. So maybe this is an idea for a double crab, perhaps. Jankos playing the long game. Normally you smite red there and come back, but he knows he's got time. But he has no bot push, so that double crab's going to be a bit tricky.
Yeah. Mark stacked on the red buff. He can't just walk over here, but Crownie, if he can place a ward, we'll have the information.
Might Crux go top side, I guess.
Sees the brush too, though, so he knows that Jankos is in the area. Jankos goes with a wall. Smite Crux. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Level 4, and of course they change it, so Ivern gets all the gold from the Crux now, which is nice. Crab spawning in 3 seconds, and he has that smite up in 10.
Crownie level 2.
Yeah,
level 4 double buff Jankos. Only level 3 on Sheo. Knockup coming in. Crownie's still getting locked up. They're trying to burn through Mersa's health bar as quick as he can, but a quick flash out to safety. This is terrible for BDS. Here comes Vetheo. Jankos is going to follow up. That's the mark. Flakked trying to finish the kill. The flash in from Vetheo and first blood. And BDS, Crownie, I just caught out of position, ultimately walks into enemy jungle and...
Oh, he saved that smite. He got the blue too. But he's not going to get the crab. I mean, Vetheo at mid push, why did BDS want to fight there? Crownie was level 2 as well. They thought they could get Mersa down, I guess, but Sheo has vision on Jankos. He's just going to stand there. Wait from 3. Is he going to cancel his base? Is it worth it?
Don't cancel him.
Should have told me that in 2018, Rekkles. And now he's going to get
I thought it was 27. Was it 2018?
Yeah, it was 2018. Oh. So Crownie's level 2.
Yeah.
Flakked gets level 3.
Sheo's level 3.
And Vetheo, he's easily first in this play. Oh, Vetheo.
Vetheo now in trouble. Sheo now following up. Clean combo in the mid lane. Vetheo's gone.
Nice
BDS
kill.
firing back 1 for 1 here in the early game.
I like this. 2 kills in 4 minutes. What happened? Everyone just decided to just take every single fight. I love that. Bot fight goes in favor of Heretics. They answer back onto Vetheo. Jankos is
water walking his way in.
Yeah, no flash on
Nuc
Sheo.
has no mana.
Vetheo has the jump ready. They could look for a kill here on the Q.
Walk in. Q isn't going to connect. Goes a little bit wide here. Shield coming down. An extra slow will come through if Nuc doesn't flash safety.
No flash
he does. Time bomb ticking. Gragas should just be taken out here, trying to buy time for Sheo. Shield now coming in. Sheo running for his life. Can they get the kill down? Mersa walking forward to tank. That's 1. Team Heretics get the kill in mid lane.
A lot of trading going now. 2 kills to Vetheo, 1 kill to Nuc. It's the mid laners getting constantly involved. Jankos is going to use that kill onto Sheo to take away his Raptors with that smite. And Crownie's going to get a little bit of free access on bot side, building towards that static shiv. Is he going to get that plate? I think he should do. And of course, Flakked moved towards mid, so that made it a lot easier for him. Sorcerer's Shoes coming out from Sheo to make sure he can move around the map after he comes out of this graveyard. And yeah, Q goes wide, but Vetheo here, biggest thing here is Vetheo doesn't get the E proc to get the reset on his W, which made it so Sheo could almost live. You know, if the Tristana has jump here for the slow after this knockup from Rakan, that's a dead Gragas, but yeah, I think Jankos is going to say to Mersa, I'm going to shield you, just keep running forwards. I'll get the autos in. Vetheo gets the kill.
Yeah. Luckily, Labrov shows up in time to stop that from being anything more in favor of Team Heretics. Overall, 400 gold lead now, almost entirely, actually entirely in the mid lane. Of course, Crown Shot with a small lead over Flakked. Not too significant quite yet, but obviously the faster you can finish that static, the sooner you can have total control over the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, Flakked's going to push in the bot waves. Jankos is going to hover around this bot side. See if he can help them out. Crownie no summoners means dive is a very high possibility with things like the Graviton, Nautilus, and Ivern. You can chain CC that can cause a lot of damage, but it looks like they might transition into a dragon. 2 bushes placed. They want to start it up. Vetheo's got the mid push. Sheo's on the bot side. BDS could fight this if they want. Yeah. No flash on Gragas though, no vision.
And those bushes last for an eternity as long as someone on your team is in them, as long as you have that bit of vision inside of them, they just they stay up for just about ever.
And the fact that they're playing Nautilus with these bushes, you walk up, you get hooked, you're dead.
Yeah, and if you can't see the hook coming,
you're dead.
Incredibly obnoxious. Such little time to react.
So, very big game here. It's one single best of 1 here to decide whether BDS is going to the season finals. And for Heretics, keeping that second life is so important because they need to make top 3 minimum to start pushing themselves into the discussion of the season finals.
And remember that if you can win both of your best of 3s, so winning here and then winning versus the victor of Koi versus G2, you play the 1 versus 2 match. If you lose that, the lowest you can place possibly is top 3. So there's a chance the Team Heretics can make their circumstances so incredibly favorable before we even get to best of 5s. Right now, Flakked needs to worry about his life on the bottom side as Crownie steps up, tries to get some damage down the route, trading 1 for 1. That is a damn good deal for Team Heretics. Crownie a bit overconfident on stepping forward there.
Yeah, both AD carries full, so the CS is going to disappear for Flakked, which kind of stings. So slightly BDS favored because they got the Flakked summoners and Crownie managed to trade off the kill, but ideally they wouldn't want to give over a kill themselves, but I think he had to full commit there to make sure they get that kill. Adam's trading very hard onto Ebby, who has that ultimate, and Jankos is here. Doesn't miss the knockup though.
Flash away from the root, follow up on the knockup. Not going to burn the ultimate, not going to bust out Daisy. Will use it now.
Can they dive this? I don't know. I think they're trying to get the wave in, but Vetheo's on the way. Adam has ultimate. Sheo's on the way up as well.
Just getting some poke down.
Using
Courtesy
the
of
Daisy
Daisy,
to-
waiting for the CC to land. Now Evie can go in. The immediate follow-up, the knock up into the wall. Maybe a bit overconfident, though. The flashback out to safety. Into the waiting arms of Sheo.
Bit too deep. As soon as you go for that knock-up and Jankos walks out of range, you're tanking that tower, and he's got no way out. Tries to flash to the side. Sheo's there. Didn't expect the Gragas, and Vetheo couldn't really help out on that dive, so backfires.
Yeah. In game 2, I said, wow, Adam, how good. This time, I think just Evie, overconfident in these lane phases.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if Jankos can stop Sheo on this, but he has smite up, so it should be easy for him.
Jankos
Walk away.
to chase.
Jankos wants to get the Q to get his flash. Just out of range.
Thumbs up though, Sheo. Frustrating match for him to deal with, but still holding onto a gold lead courtesy of that kill. Is Adam just going to delete this wave. We'll just be able to walk forward here and I think get the play. Should just be fine from the cannon.
He's been getting so many plates in this lane phase. Does he get it? He did.
No? Yes?
Not sure. Anyway, there's the
Today.
ult. Whoa, nice.
Knockback onto Vetheo. Instant combo. The buffer will not be enough. Yes, it will. The pushback.
He didn't even have to flash. Nice buffer from Vetheo. I think if you're already in the cast timer and then you get hit, you get cancelled basically. But if you buffer it before the CC, then you're fine. Manages to get out. Doesn't have the TP though. Needs the base. Will lose out on this wave. No dragon to transition it into, and Sheo's gone towards the bot side, so no Herald start either. Big wave stacking up bots. See if they want to look for some kind of dive. But I think Nuke's going to look for platings, get himself ahead on this chase because he's still a little bit behind, given that second kill onto Vetheo, but he'll recover with the plates as he builds towards the Dust Blade.
And good that he's able to grab that on the back of the exchange. Jankos obviously finding success on the bottom side in that first 3v3 skirmish, but now definitely looking like BDS are firing back, holding on to almost 1,000 gold in their favor. Split between Crownie, who's been just very quietly power farming on the bottom side of the map, now has that static shiv.
He's going to catch top wave. Sheo's on a ward starting up that Herald. Let's track Mersa. See how quickly he can get from bot to top here, because Sheo, I think, is backing away because Crownie's saying, hey, I need to catch bot wave. Just be careful because their bot lane can move. Flakked showing on the tower though. Heretics trying to get some mid push. No dragon spawn just yet. Heretics have two options. One, walk into top side and fight this Herald. Two, dive that Varus who's sitting all alone. Oh, he got cancelled.
The cancel comes out. The knock-up, he has to flash out to safety. The brushes there and waiting for him.
Nice knock by Nuke there. Daisy might die. See if BDS can get him down, but
And
a lot of vision.
wandering forward. There's control ward in the brush, so he's sitting pretty. Jankos
Does he have
just gonna
vision?
take the camp. I don't know if he wins his fight. Ooh. Okay. He'll never know. He's gonna look back at the VOD. Realize he was so close.
yeah. Maybe he's going to catch that top wave. Crownie's going to get an extra plate because of that base. TP ward behind. Crownie needs to be
coming
careful.
out.
Vetheo could TP down there. Evie could
1
TP down
second
there
on
right
Evie's
now.
TP.
Oh, Crownie. Oh, Crownie.
Waves in a neutral position. Renekton not gonna spot Evie out.
He has the ghost. I think he's fine.
Blow
to be
the
honest.
horn. Now that he's hit, though, he's not fine. He has to flash out to safety. Two-man knock him on the backside. Mersa now stepping forward. Labrov can just dash back to Crownie, though. The play's going to fizzle. Meanwhile, on the top side, Adam just gets everything he wants.
Yeah, he's going to get 2, maybe 3 plates there, but Vetheo's going to TP up to counter that play. Nuke has TP of his own to defend bot play, so they should feel confident to walk up here, BDS, to defend this tower, so nothing really happens. Crownie loses summoners. Evie and Vetheo lose their TPs, respectively.
They lose both their TPs. They lost about half a wave mid. Ornn was able to catch some of it, and they still, Adam is able to grab a plate. So overall, Team Heretics, I respect them trying to force, but was not a super favorable exchange.
But with their champions, Varus no flash, Nautilus flash, Ivern flash, they have a lot of lockdown if they want to commit. Ornn ult as well will sting. But no one's done Rift Herald yet. 11 minutes going towards 12. Normally Rift Herald is 8 minutes timer. It's like a hot date. You gotta show up straight away. You know, you don't want to be late, don't wait too early. On time.
You have to be ready to go.
But this is 4 minutes late. And in like real life terms, that's like half an hour.
Yeah, it's not a good look for a first date. BDS, close the deal anyway.
So,
successful date, we'll see.
Yeah, because you know you really want to be there early because platings, you know.
Yeah,
that's
true.
guaranteed transition.
100%.
Transition the kill on the Herald into plate gold.
Yeah. Where the metaphor is at this point, I'm completely lost,
Yeah,
but I agree with the gameplay analysis. And
Yeah.
Adam's just going to get some more free gold. Herald finally going to get started here by Team Heretics.
Yeah, easy pickup.
Grab this one. Which, again, the whole Ivern thematic, I do think falls flat around major objectives, because it's like, yeah, guys, I love all animals, except for dragons and Rift Heralds and Barons. They suck.
And Elder Dragons, yeah,
and
they
Elder
suck.
Dragons, they suck.
I'm gonna kill those. But, oh, this cute little Scuttle Crab. It's
also, people, animals. Rakan is half animal, doesn't care.
He likes a challenge, you know? Small Scuttle Crab.
That's a crocodile
baby
in the
chickens.
top lane. He's still going to kill that crocodile.
Exactly. Small Scuttle Crab, baby
Just
chickens.
saying.
Just
Little
looks after
inconsistent.
them. But the big monsters.
Like, if you tell me you're vegan, you can't be like, but I also eat chicken. Like, that doesn't line up. Doesn't count. You can't decide like that.
He doesn't eat dragon. He does eat dragon meat. And whatever crab that is of Rift Herald. And worms, maybe. Baron.
All right,
snake
man.
thing. And crocodiles.
I went too deep, but then you're like...
I'm just trying to figure out where the line is.
We're just trying to figure it out.
Where is the line?
Just trying to face check the line here as BDS have to debate whether or not they want to face check that brush. The brush now fading away. The knockback is clean from Sheo. Crownie immediately follows up, but there's knockback now coming in. He has no flash. The mark from Flakked, but not nearly enough follow-up damage to Labrov. Does he want to keep the fight going? Team Heretics backing away on the top side. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, who is it? None other than Adam knocking on the door.
30 CS lead, 1.2k gold lead, full first tower over to Adam. I don't know how many plates he's gotten. I'm gonna go with 5 or 6 at this point.
Yep.
And that's gonna be a big gold swing. So he's gonna be about 1.8k gold up on Ebby after this tower falls. And that's horrible for the situation on side lane. I mean, he is Ornn and he will contribute later on, but yeah, these plays aren't working out.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, you connect on the abilities. Crownie down and flash. You think this is your window of opportunity that you're going to be able to grab that kill after the play that you made earlier, which again, conceded a decent number of resources, but they just didn't have the follow-up damage. And I do think this is one of the downsides of this composition is that, you know, if you fall behind, you're kind of left waiting for these second, third items to start to come through for the double AD carries before you can just blow somebody up.
Jankos just cleaned up the trash there. Vetheo took all the Raptors but one small one. Okay, fine. I'll come in and sure I can clear that one out. Of course, they do clear when the big one's down these days after a little while. Flakked is top. Dragon's up in 2 minutes. Has the Kraken Slayer on both AD carries. There's the Moonstone as well. Mythics being built across the board. They really want this top tower here, Heretics. Adam got a full bot tower and they were kind of diving top, but they didn't transition into an objective, and now Adam's here. Nuc has TP, and you can see BDS is going to try and defend that top side. So both teams matching one another.
Yeah. Here we are. Another calm, controlled game. If it's anything like our last 2 games, there will be one mega explosive team fight that ends it all sometime in the next 30 minutes. But both sides, I mean, I think for Team Heretics, when we look at late game, I really favor their scaling. While there's always like the intangibles of the playmaking that Sheo and Labrov can bring to the table, you're just looking at double AD carries with an Ivern and an Ornn, and like, it's just like, it feels impossible to lose a team.
Yeah, tank, double DPS on hit, and shields and healing.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Versus what? Poke? And a crocodile.
Certainly.
Oh
no!
He's trying to hook us. But here we go. Ebby.
Knockback. Sheo flashing out safety now, calling down the horn onto Adam, but pushed back and he can't do anything. He's just going to walk away. They're now dashing in as the follow-up hook there. Adam immediately going to stun Q. Cold meat coming out. Adam still buying so much time. Dashing out will finally get knocked down. But meanwhile in the mid lane, Crownie's taking another tower.
And bot lane. Look at bot. Nuke's going to get a tier 2 as well. I think he's going to get a full one there. So 2 towers full for that play from Heretics. They're going to get a top tier 1 in response, but that Jayce just got a lot of gold injection from that tower. You can see he's almost 1,000 gold up. Crownie's pushing in mid. These plays are backfiring for Heretics. The Ebby rotation to top, they lost a lot of plays to Adam. Now they try it again, and they get Adam, ironically, but they lose so much in return.
And I gotta say, this is, you know, credit to Adam for surviving. Obviously, huge fumbles on the side of Team Heretics in terms of execution on some of these plays, but like, it feels like Team Heretics, this is their thing. This is what they've decided. This is the way they're going to beat BDS, and they have stuck to it every single game.
This flash hook needs to land from Mersa. I mean, he's out of vision, and he just misses because Sheo backsteps. It's kind of unlucky for Mersa because Sheo's running in a direction, and he backsteps randomly.
Yep.
And as he does that, Mersa's already buffering his flash hook, so that sucks. They managed to get Adam. Adam actually just stands there and hits them. Look at him. He's not running away. He's not even flashing. He wants to get the Fury Q, but he Qs just a little bit too soon. He didn't have the Fury for the heal bonus, and he does fall. I don't think he would have lived anyway. Now Dragon's up. Second Dragon for both these teams. BDS trying to get some setup. These Ivern brushes, Jankos needs to be careful he doesn't put them too far forwards, because ideally you want to put a pink inside it like that and then hold it. But if he gives them over to BDS with river control with a Jayce Varus, you're giving them more bushes to poke you with. So you can see if BDS step up, it then becomes a bit tricky.
Yeah, and of course, once you no longer have team vision inside the brush only has an 8-second lifespan. And if it's expired, that it'll immediately disappear, which is what you saw there once the control word was deleted.
I think that was a Heretics pause.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated as to what the pause reason was as we get more information from our comp ops team, competitive operations. Keep us informed. We'll see what's up.
My favorite one is when they spill something on the... I thought we were back in game then for a second.
We just heard a game sound. Oh, we are back in game.
The fastest pause ever.
Okay, TP topside. Now Vetheo's going to try to get a tower pushed in. Mersa needs to run for his life. Jankos ready to body block, back him up. Hook onto Labrov. Not hook, excuse me, root. Another Drake over the side of BDS.
They finally get this top tower. Third time was charmed. Vetheo picks it up in a 1v0, and now I think, despite the gold deficit, like you said, the scaling is so powerful for Heretics. They need these double items coming in for the AD carries. They need the Gale Force, they need the Navori on the Tristana and Aphelios. And then the Moonstone will carry them through.
Yeah. I will say, though, impressed with BDS across the last 2 games. Obviously, the last game was just a stomp, but Adam especially, while I think that he's definitely been performing well, I just feel like there's so much pressure levied at him across all of these games. And the fact that he's managed to perform pretty well in the 1v1 so consistently across all of those games is good. And I think it's freed up the rest of BDS to look good as well, especially in this game, because no one else has really been getting much of any attention past that first play on the bottom side when Crownie was level 2. Here's the setup, though, around the objective. Daisy just going to scout that one out.
TP coming in from Adam. They want to secure this Herald. They really want to secure this second Herald. Don't want to lose their mid tower if Heretics get it, and they've got really easy setup. See if Jankos and Mersa want to force their way in, but I don't think you can. Sterak's Gauge on that Renekton, very tanky, very powerful now. Heretics trying to respond with a mid tower, but Vetheo's a bit too far away.
Side step on the hook. Back steps in. Mersa finally connects that one. Ornn now coming in, can hit Crownie on the backside first. The kill gets done up. Adam still standing for now, but the mark comes out from the ultimate from Flakked. Enough to finish the job. Flakked knocked back by Sheo. Sheo going back in onto Evie. Double kill coming through from Crownie. Do they have enough to keep the fight going? Labrov sped up, ready to run to safety. Flakked flashing over the wall. Nuke to the skies, and again finds the kill. That's the Dusk Blade to deny the re-engage from Jankos. Vetheo waiting in the darkness, trying to burn him down. Nuke could be in trouble. Nuke finding another Nuke, looking for more. He just kills him left and right. It's a triple for Nuke.
Nuke continues the chase. The rest of BDS push down mid, but he's confident enough to step straight through. Labrov by his side, he manages to take down Vetheo and Jankos towards the end of that. So it's them, Heretics, who engage this fight. Mersa goes for the hook on Adam, but look how long Adam lives for with that Sterak's. Gets hooked, pops the Dominus, manages to get 1 Q off. Gore Drinker, he eventually does fall here, but how much has been wasted? You've already lost 1 member. Nuke's gap close and push Vetheo out. He's chunked out. Flakked has to run. Evie's trying to sacrifice himself so his team can try and disappear, but Nuke with the Shock Blast lands onto 2. Perks reminds me of that wall flash over on the hammer form on Jayce. Then MSI, and then he chases through onto Heretics and gets those kills. Now BDS starting up this Baron, 9k health on the objective, 5k damage in that last fight from Nuke, and now you can see how far away Vetheo is. 5k is the health bar. Jankos, no flash, just gone. There's no chance of fighting this.
And Nuke, this Jayce has to be respected. Back-to-back games where he has been clutch for BDS as Labrov now wants to keep the fight going. He knows that they're so damn powerful. Mersa instantly removed from the equation. Evie is going to go down as well. There's just simply no way that he can escape on this one. The rest of Team Heretics now just has to run for their lives. Crownie has no mana, but it does not matter. BDS are too damn strong. Here comes Crownie. Hail of Blades coming through. Crownie on a rampage. BDS absolutely wiping the floor with Team Heretics for the last 10 minutes of this game.
It's almost a 10,000 gold lead. They have Herald. They have Herald and Baron. This is 21 minutes into the game. They're going to destroy these towers. They don't even get the Shelly crash, so she stays very, very healthy. Maybe they get this tier 3 down as well before the Shelly crashes. We'll see. Gonna burst straight through. Gonna let it proc. There's the damage now. 3k HP. They're gonna be able to push towards mid off this inhibitor. There's still 10 seconds on Jankos. They got loads of time to work with. Shelly's gonna die now to Vetheo, but the damage is already done.
One more second tower.
And I think these double AD carries have damage. In that last fight, Adam was dropping quick, but
Adam leaping in, wants to extend the lead even further. Is it gonna cost them? Flakked so incredibly low. He needs to get into that redemption. The knockup's now coming through, landing on the Crownie on the backside. Evie trying to step forward. Vetheo ready to kick the fight off, getting just out of range of the Varus ultimate. Team Heretics, 4 members coming down the mid lane as fast as they can, sprinting. But there's nothing here. There's no play to be had. BDS just walk away.
There was no TP wards. If there was a TP ward anywhere behind them, maybe could have looked for it. flashes are missing, and Evie has his, but yeah, it's not there. They can't find that window, but it's a kill onto the Gragas, but the shutdowns are really on that Jayce and Varus. Look at that, almost 1,000 on both of them. Getting a mid tower, maybe Objective Bounty could help. You can see Flakked is pushing in bot, Dragon's a minute away. But I don't think Flakked can get that tower. Vetheo will certainly get this mid one. And BDS, oh, Adam flash, he's got the Dominus though.
What's crazy is 1, 2, and 4, 3.5k gold ahead of his opponent. No shutdown on Adam.
But yeah, he's just built different. He really is. And this is a game where BDS 9,000 gold, whatever it may be, lead. And 10,000 gold lead even almost. And they're so close to locking that season finals top 6.
Yeah. I mean, incredible again when you think of they felt like a sure thing to win the entirety of spring. It must feel so cathartic for them to come through and be able to secure season finals before we're even into the best of 5 portion of the summer split. On the back of this fight, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. They're wildly far ahead. Team Heretics are just trying to survive here, but they're way too far behind.
Yeah, they are. Adam's just stacking up these waves. They only have 30 seconds of Baron left, though, so I'm not sure if they're going to be in time to push through. You can see Dragon is up, but they're using that as an exit objective. Ideally for BDS, with this 20 seconds left on Baron, they can get a bot 0-3. Then that's all 3 Inhib towers gone. So they're going to have to play on this wave and step up. Crownie's a little bit far away. Are they confident enough to step up? They're confident enough to walk up and hit this tower. Adam is.
Adam certainly is more than tanky enough. Labrov caught up and rooted.
But Ornn's got one shot.
Continuing, Ornn deleted. Crownie's on connecting onto multiple members. Adam just continues to step forward, single-handedly zoning away so many members of Team Heretics. They know the follow-up damage from the rest of BDS would be too much.
Oh my god! Poke damage from the Jayce and the burst damage from the Varus with ultimate is absurd, isn't it? Evi's building a lot of armor, but he has hardly any magic resist. So Crownie presses his ult, presses his Q with W, and down goes Evi's ult.
I mean, the thing is, Evi's doesn't even have, he's just broke, dude. He's broke as hell. He doesn't have a lot of anything.
He's broke as hell.
I mean, it's just rough. I mean, like, he does have more armor than magic resistance, but he doesn't have a single completed item.
Yeah.
And right now,
he doesn't have a mythic. You're right. It's 24 minutes in. My man is playing Build-A-Bear.
Bit of a diffy in the tiffy this time around.
4k gold lead for Adam. And granted, the AD carries were doing damage in these fights. I mean, Vetheo and Flakked, when Adam was in their face in that topside fight on blue buff, 3 seconds uptime, Adam almost died, but it's just the damage coming off of BDS is way, way higher.
Well, and so often in a front-to-back team fight, it's about whose frontline dies first, right? And the reality is just with how far behind Evie is, and with the fact that Mersa has no gold, not that much gold to support, there's no frontline.
Yeah.
You disappear instantly. AP Varus does so much damage to these tanks. The massive poke coming in from Nuc, it has Heretics completed, and you can see in terms of damage dealt this game, Ornn still respectable numbers because a lot of that AoE, a lot of that trading in the lane phase, but Gragas, the unsung hero, I think we do have to give some praise to Sheo here, who has been really clutch in so many of these plays, whether it's protecting Adam on the top side, engaging these fights, stopping Team Heretics from finding the picks.
Well, Evie's got his Jack Shot. He's got his Mythic, 25 minutes in. He's not got a lot of MR, but BDS are sieging the base. 3 Inhibs are down. They have Poke. It's only 25 minutes in, so there's not much wave clear on Heretics. This is gonna sting. Worst case, they'll go to Baron in a minute's time, but I think they're looking to lock the season finals.
I mean, they've got 4 stopwatches. There's almost no way for them to lose a fight, short of absolute disaster here.
Yeah, red-white on the Aphelios is good single target damage, but that ain't a lot of wave clear.
Yep, Adam goes golden to stop any potential follow-up. Evie gonna throw the ultimate out and hit 2 key members, but again, Team Heretics have to clear the waves.
I think it's done now, isn't it? These waves are way too much for Heretics to clear through. Someone has to pull the trigger. Everybody's gonna step forwards, but if they don't take a fight now, BDS are just gonna play the waiting game.
Yeah, BDS fought hard in spring, they fought hard in the summer regular season, but here in the best of 3s, find themselves walking into the season finals with how clean, with how effortless these last 2 games have been from them.
Yeah, Flakked trying to cycle through this green as quick as he can so he can pick up a blue gun and maybe try to clear these waves out, but there's 1 tower left. Labrov, it's on you. Ult's flash, when's he gonna come in? With the W, he has a stopwatch. Who's gonna go first?
Shepherding them in, they have to pull the trigger eventually, they just don't have the tools. Labrov can start the fight, but it's on Team Heretics trying to force something. Evie now stepping in. Immediately the follow-up starts to come in.
There it is.
The damage, and there's the Rakan engage. BDS locking season finals. Mad Lions, G2, BDS, 3 of the 6 teams you will see in the top 6 in the LEC.
Good comeback from BDS. Very tough game 1. Slow game 2, but this game 3, they just ran over, didn't they? dominated the entire Rift and just took over that series. Took them a little time to wake up and figure out what they wanted to play, but once they dealt with things like the Kai'Sa and the Ziggs, it really felt like these drafts were working way more in their favor.
And while Adam was, I think the big standout for me is such a consistent point of pressure. I think everyone had their moment on BDS in the series overall. Sheo, fantastic game 2, game 3. Nuc, game 1 was rough. The fumble on the mid lane play, but then both of the Jayce games, immaculate, fantastic performances.
And I think we get to see two very important styles from both these teams and what they've been practicing all week. You can see Heretics love this double AD carry. Kai'Sa, Tristana, any AP bot lane or something like that is really what their bread and butter is. And BDS have been practicing this double AD solo laner with an AP jungler, Lilia, Gragas, you know. So interesting to see those two styles. I think both of them could probably play each style, but these are the ones they favored in draft. And BDS come out on top this time around.
Yep. Commiserations, Team Heretics. They can still are not out yet. It is double limb. They have the luxury of trying to make it further. Grinding for all BDS. I mean, just a good day. LEC season final. Still a lot of the split left to play.
Yep. We'll have to see who they play up against in the next round.
Yeah, and they play tomorrow. Remember, it's winners matches tomorrow. So we've got XL versus SK, and then we're going to have BDS versus the victor
I feel like
of Koi and G2.
I don't want to say this was an upset, because I think everyone kind of expected this to be a close matchup.
Yeah.
Similar to XL Mad. A lot of strength, we weren't sure. You know, Mad on a
I
slump.
think the nature in which it happened did catch me off guard. Of course, player of the series at LEC on Twitter, Sheo, Nuc, Labrov. I did not expect it to be this dominant,
Yeah.
especially after game 1.
Especially after game 1. And you look at SK Fnatic, and you're like, well, SK just crushed Fnatic. And you look at G2 Koi, and if Koi beats G2, then everything's kind of up in the air. It's like this series and the XL Mad series were the hardest ones to predict.
I think the league in general right now is really hard to predict.
Yeah.
Because this week off, this break week into this new patch, has transformed so many teams. Some for better, some for worse, most certainly. But BDS definitely looking incredible. We've seen a lot of surprising upsets yesterday, most certainly, and we'll have to see what BDS can do against either Koi or G2 tomorrow in our second series. For now, though, let's send it over to Georgia, who's standing by with Adam and Nuc.
Thank you very much, Drakos. Congratulations, guys. I'm here with Adam and Nuc. You guys have locked season finals. How does that feel?
Well, you know, of course, with the new format, it was kind of like a big change for us. But fortunately, we managed to adapt, and we'll get to have like our chance to get towards. So everything is in our hands now. So of course, pretty happy. I'm really proud of everyone, especially Nuc today. He actually smurfed it, so really well played to Nuc. And let's hope we make it.
And
yeah, I
for
mean,
you, Nuc?
it feels really good, right? To be honest, I just wanted like to qualify to season final this split, because playing on stage, like the stage is really nice, but playing at like Montpellier stage must be a whole different experience. So it's like
Back home?
yeah, back home as well. So it's like a whole additional thing that makes it really like hype for us.
Now, of course, you guys came into the best of series, and let's not joke with ourselves. You guys were fantastic over in spring in the best of, all the way up to the finals, right? And the meta changed really swiftly. How has those changes been for BDS and for you guys individually in your respective lanes? I'll start with you, Nuc.
Well, yeah, there has been a lot of changes. Like, for example, in spring, we had like a lot of success. And for example, for myself, I was playing a lot of like mages, and our team comp was like really like classic, strict, and it was like always the same options. But now everything shifted. There is so much engaged on support, jungle. I can just play whatever I want on mid. And for example, I really like Jayce, and I could play it today, so it feels good.
And Adam, same old for you up top?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just really interesting because we had a really rough start, you know, and I think we got some issues into like adapting to the new meta and adapting how like kind of the game changed in how we're supposed to play. There was a lot of discussions, you know. It wasn't hard, I would say, but we actually managed, you know, to overcome this difficulty, and here we are.
You know, Adam, you said something at the very beginning of this interview. You said you're proud of Nuc because he absolutely smurfed today, and indeed you did.
Thanks.
I want to ask you something that might be a little bit of a harder question. A lot of the times when BDS loses, you know, the blame falls on Sheo, but it has fallen on you as well, and there has been a lot of criticism thrown your way. How do you deal with that?
I mean, I don't really care. I don't give really.
A damn?
Yeah, a damn.
Okay.
You just play, and especially for me, like I just hate best of one because it's just really annoying to play. And in best of 3, it's just so much like fun, and I don't know, it's just different, and I just like it. And we stomped them today, and except first game, it was the start, and we will keep stomping and just keep going.
You know what, a reverse sweep can still be a stomp. You guys stomped them back to back. What was the one thing that you would say was the most challenging thing playing versus Heretics?
I like kind of Heretics. I would say their team, we're not really quite sure what they want to do. They looked quite strong in the regular split because of best of 1s, but the moment you get into best of 3, like the preparation works more. So like teams just prepare more against you than they usually do in best of 1s. So you kind of get to analyze how they want to play, etc. And I think they like the fact that they played heavily into topside this best of. I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised because usually this is not how they play, and usually it doesn't work that well for them. But I don't know, they play topside against us, so we cannot lose, you know?
I don't know, man. Shutting you down seems to work for teams because you're a big danger for them. Now, Nuc, of course, you guys winning this means that you're going to have to play versus one of the 2 teams behind us, either G2 or Koi. Who do you think is going to make it forward to face you guys?
I mean, G2, I guess, right? And it will be also really cool to face them again because we lost them last time. We lost against them last time in best of 3s, like in winter. So yeah, G2.
And Adam?
And I hope we face G2, but I hope they don't do a G2, you know, like losing to Koi, because I think there should be... No, it's not actually flaming Koi, by the way. I'm just saying, like, G2 should be stronger, you know, like, we should be facing them if the logic follows, you know, but I would be really happy to face G2 again, because we have a revenge to take.
Well, let's see if they can actually do it, because they're playing straight after the break. Don't go anywhere, G2 versus Koi. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Merci.
This is terrible for BDS. Here comes Vetheo. Jankos is going to follow up. That's the mark. Flakked trying to finish the kill. The flash in from Vetheo and first blood. Circumstances so incredibly favorable before we even get to best of 5s. Right now, Flakked needs to worry about his life on the bottom side as Crownie steps on it. Tries to get some damage down the route. Trading 1-for-1.
Okay, nice.
Go top, got blue buff.
Insane Nuc, insane Nuc.
Yes, plus.
Keep chasing. Keep chasing.
Yes.
Can maybe kill. Come to me.
Nice.
Nice.
Come on. It's big.